Hello, 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 hello. From the great beyond, from the great beginning, from all beginnings to all endings. This is Dom's Sketchcast, and I am Dom. This is episode 31, and this is a very special episode. Welcome to everyone here who is new, and welcome to people who are old, who've been watching / listening to me do this for the last, I guess it's been 31 weeks. I've been doing these episodes, and they've been changing and morphing, and I've been trying all kinds of new stuff. Some old stuff and a lot of new stuff. And I think this show reflects very well how my brain works. How every week and every day and every moment there's something new, and it's the old and the new fighting at the same time. It's me thinking about process and things that have been in place versus new stuff that I want to try out. New stuff that I want to show people. So yeah, for new people, my name is Dominic Rabrun, and I'm an artist. I'm an animator. Primarily, I do a lot of experimental art, and on this show, I talk to myself for at least 15 minutes about art every week. Usually I'm talking to myself. Sometimes I have guests on, and I'm trying to get to do that a little bit more, because this week, we have a very special guest that I'll be telling you about at length and talking with at length. I'm not going to talk your ear off. I'm just going to tell you a couple of announcements, a couple of cool, interesting things that have been on my mind, some information about what's going on in life, special things, and then we're going to get into this interview with this very special person. So the first thing I want to say is that this show is sponsored by patreon.com/valet. This is my Patreon, and this is the best way right now for you all to support what I'm doing. If you fuck with what I'm doing. If you fuck with art advice, art talks, me sitting here talking to myself, me putting myself out there, and perhaps you putting yourself out there, sending questions in, looking at what I'm doing, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge in the Discord. Patreon.com/valet is the best way to do that. We have different tiers on there, different rewards you can get, from housekeeping to valet. At the valet tier, $25 a month, you'd be entered in a special drawing where every 3 months I send one of you an original piece of art, which is priceless. I don't know how much it's going to cost, one of my art pieces in the future, but the price is going to go up, inevitably. So yeah, patreon.com/valet, we had 2 new patrons sign up just this past week, and I want to thank you guys for that. Another way to support DSC and me, Dom, is to go to domrabrun.com/shop and buy a print. We still have a couple prints left. The Flamagra drawing too, the Twin Peaks print that's up there, and also some portraits of the dead king that are left. So head over there. I fixed recently we had some international shipping orders, but you can go on there right now and buy a print, hang that shit up on your wall. They're all limited edition. Okay. So once those are gone, they're gone forever. I'm not going to be reprinting them. Only the originals will exist. And I don't plan on selling those anytime soon. So yeah. That was painless, right? Before we get to our guest, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about where my headspace is at this week. Yesterday I was shooting some stuff with Ryan, some Death Grips videos that'll be coming out later this week, and I was thinking about how there's this push between what you feel like you should be doing as an artist versus what you are doing. There's this constant fight between I should be doing this, why am I not doing this, and what you are actually doing. And I think that this pushback, this back and forth, is what causes me a lot of stress, and I don't know, maybe it's the same for you all. This stress of what should I be doing, and I don't really feel like working. I don't feel like working on this right now. I feel like doing something else. That seems to be like a big theme for me right now. I think the grand answer to all this stuff is, it's just like Neil Gaiman said, you got to make good art. You got to make something and go out there and just put it out. Even though you might be worried about views, you might be worried about how people are going to perceive you, or if anyone is going to perceive you. If you might be shouting into the void, if you might be just throwing your stuff out into the darkness and you're afraid that no one's ever going to see it, you still got to do it. In this time in particular, when you see a lot of political stuff happening, we're about to come up to an election year where it's going to be big. It's going to be big. It's going to be weird. I was watching these debates last 2 nights and I feel exhausted. I feel disconnected from everything. And I feel like I don't want to participate in that at all. But I'm going to. And you should as well. But more importantly than participating in that, I think is, if you all are creative people, which I think a lot of you are, it's important that you participate in your creativity and participate in just giving the world and giving people your opinion and your perspective. Because I think that's the most powerful thing that we have as artists, is our ability to share how we feel about things in a unique and special way. Through paintings, drawing, art, whatever it is that you do, whatever your ideas are in your head, it's better that they not live in your head and live out in the physical world, so that they're in other people's heads and that they're just out here in digital space. That's pretty much all I have to say. Shout out to everyone who's listening to this on iTunes and Spotify as well. You can get this on those platforms. You can have my voice in your ear and the voice of my guest in your ear. My guest this week, without further ado, is the great Mabel Ye. Mabel Ye. I fucked her name up. I'm sorry. Mabel. Mabel Ye is a fantastic, multidisciplinary artist. And this is her second appearance on this show. The first appearance was in episode 12, which you can watch here if you click up on the little thing. And if you're listening to this, just scroll on down. That's episode 12. Listen to that. It was a beautiful conversation where we created a tree house for her and I to live inside of whenever we're having conversations. This digital space, which we'll be returning to just in a few seconds. Mabel Ye is working at Netflix right now, has worked at Cartoon Network, has created all kinds of amazing art and music as well. We had a very cozy conversation. I always feel like when I talk to Mabel, it's a very comforting, soft conversation. I always feel safe. I always feel sort of like I come out of these conversations smarter and probably a little bit, I don't know what the word is. Whatever that word is where you feel like you will judge yourself less. You feel like you can like alleviate some of the stress off your life creatively. That's what I feel like. And this appearance, this chat we had is no different. Some of the stuff we talked about are Mabel revealed that she has a very interesting way of looking at colors, perceiving colors, and it has a lot to do with numbers. She has a very particular number system that she uses to think about colors. We talked about technology and existential art and whether or not Mabel is a replicant. You'll find out in this conversation. We talk about whether or not we're simulations, one of my favorite things to talk about. Video games. We talk at length about Mabel's love of Team Fortress 2 and how she met some of her favorite people on there, which is amazing. So I encourage you, wherever you are, take a few seconds, as It's Not Real is playing, to sort of throw back to what we used to do in the beginning of this show. Way back 20, 30 weeks ago. Just let this song sink into your ears. Just think about wherever you are. Don't worry about being present. Just worry about noticing things. Try to create a special moment for yourself as we transition into this interview. And just relax. Wherever you are, sit back, relax. If you're running, relax. Whatever it is you're doing, just I hope you feel comfortable. I hope you feel safe and that you are in a good creative headspace. Come on back after the interview. I'm going to answer a question from one of our amazing listeners, and then we're going to taper on out into the void, to the existential void. All right. So it's not real. Mabel Ye. Second conversation. DSC. Let's fucking do it. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's do it.
Yeah, my childhood was really interesting. I just only ate fish and garden vegetables, and I just ran around and like fished a lot and like swam. I don't know.
How much do you think that? Oh, okay. That's the boring interview question. I'm like, you ever think about how much of your body is composed of fish and veggies? Like that means your most of your cells were nourished by ocean stuff, right?
Yeah, probably. The thing is, like, I think I got sick of seafood because I don't know if you ever lived near the ocean, but it smells like shit.
Yeah, like
Because it's like
rotting stuff.
rotting fish and stuff. And after a really long time of living near that, I was like, God, I don't. And I started to understand how gross the ocean was too, or
Hmm.
rather, like the stuff we eat. I don't know, but I still like fish.
I guess down in the depths of the ocean, though, I guess they don't. This is a really dumb comment. I guess there's no smell inside of the ocean.
Yeah,
We only
I
smell
think
things because of
yeah,
oxygen or something.
pretty much. I mean, I'm sure like fresh fish is always great, but I think I've just like because my one of my neighbors was a fisherman and he had this big butcher's table outside. We lived by like these docks, and he had this big butcher's table, and he would butcher fish every day outside, and all these like seagulls and pelicans would go crazy, and and every time after he cut his fish up, he'd rinse it off. But I swear, during the summer, it smelled like shit. It was like rotting fish guts.
I'm
And
like,
after
did
that
you?
point, I was
And
like, I don't.
you never got used to it.
I mean, I did, but like, it just kept reminding me of like what I'm eating. I don't know. I do still like seafood, and I caught a lot of like crabs too, and um like oysters and stuff. Like going
How do you
getting
catch?
oysters,
How do you catch them? Do you just throw a net out?
crabs.
No, I mean oysters. Do you put a box
Oh,
up?
you have to no, like you have to wade out, and you have to go wading in like sort of shallow water and kind of feel your way and put them in a bag. Like you carry a bag with you,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, crabs is more like that's my cat.
Talking about fish. So you summon that
Yeah,
cat.
crabs is like at least like by the docks you can get a really long net and you see them hanging out by the like on the docks like looking up through the water, and you just go over them slowly and just catch them quickly
Hmm.
with the net.
Oysters. I don't really. I mean, I live in Maryland, so there's a lot of seafood here.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of
the
seafood.
Old Bay, the
Yeah.
Old
Oh, so
Bay.
you've had Old Bay seasoning then?
Yeah,
What do you think of it?
East Coast represent. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, someone brought it to work to put on like popcorn and stuff, and I like keep taking it. Um, but yeah, it's like nostalgic, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, what you must feel a little bit different being on the West Coast. I mean, have you found a lot of differences between like the way people are socialized there or interact, especially being in you're in the hub of entertainment of the world, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, things are super different. Um, I had this friend at Cartoon Network, and she's lived in New York for a while, but she's also lived, or rather, I think she visited. I think it was some Scandinavian, maybe it was like Denmark or something, some European country. and she said that the culture shock of coming from New York to California was actually bigger than coming from Europe to California, which is
Hmm.
which is really nuts. But yeah, it's super different coast wise.
I mean, New York is a very intense place. I happen to love it. I think I like the aggressive nature of the place. I like that it feels unnatural. You know, it feels like it's like if if bees created places to live, if they somehow gained sentience and like had limbs and societies and structure and all that stuff. I feel like that's what they would make. They would make New York that sort of thing.
I
Maybe.
mean, maybe like the city. I don't know. I didn't go into the city that often, but city's pretty crazy.
Oh right,
New
yeah.
York
Whenever
is
whenever
kind of
anyone
weird.
says New York, yeah, they're talking about they're talking about Manhattan basically. Whenever we say New York, and then I
Yeah,
guess your version of New York is smelly fishmongers butchering
it's
butchering
like
crabs and whatnot.
yeah, because New York is super big and it borders Canada. So I'd say there's like I want to say I don't know, this tiny pinprick of New York is actually New York City, and the rest is just mountains and forests and nothing. It's very rural and empty. And I'm from like this bottom bit, kind of near like the ocean, near this place called Fire Island, where it's just dunes and
Hmm.
grass, like sand.
Solid environment for creativity. I think all kinds of artists come from different places, obviously, but I don't know. I think we would love to think that environments create specific kinds of art, and I think maybe they do, but I think quiet places do breed a certain kind of art. Do you believe that sort of thing?
um, I don't know. Yeah, I do believe that your environment and how you grew up informs you as an artist. But you could live in like a super crazy busy place and also have like, like ideas and stories to tell, I guess. But I guess like the term outsider art?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's
The
fucked
term
up.
or what
I
it
I
is?
don't like the term because I feel like I'm gonna get on my stupid soapbox for a second, but I feel like it's often attached to like I keep seeing it's always like an old black artist or something. It's always like an old black artist or a woman who's making stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to make paintings out of chewing gum," and they're like, "Oh, this guy is an outsider. He's an outsider." And I'm like, "What does that like?" It feels like exclusionary almost. It feels like you're not
Yeah, right.
allowed to make what we make in a way. But what were you getting at?
Yeah. Oh no, I just from like the few outsider artists I know, I think like a majority of them were mentally ill. Um
Mm,
and like or some of them or from what I researched on like online and stuff, some of them also were just super isolated.
yeah,
Uh and I'm not sure what I'm trying to get at, but like
that's a
sometimes
place, right? It's a
it
place in your head. Some
yeah, it is
kind
interesting
of
to see um I guess art that isn't informed by anything by like other art. I don't know how to explain it. Does that make sense?
yeah. It's yeah. There's this guy Henry Darger who made. I think it's called In the Realm of the not in the Realm of the Senses. Well, something. Henry Darger was like this janitor dude, this white dude from like I don't know 1950s or something, and it turned out he had made like this giant world, like this poetic world about this war between these little girls and boys in this fantasy place, and he'd been writing and illustrating this comic for like 40 years, never showed anybody. When he died, there were like all these composition notebooks that were stacked in his house. But I think what you're getting at is like when you're not influenced by other people, you're kind of, or when you're not
Right.
when you're
Yeah.
detached, you create these realms that have this very specific detached quality to them that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's I don't know, like definitely other art styles and such will inform your art style, but it is interesting to look at art where it's like truly something from someone's brain, stuff like that. Um, yeah.
I think this is a good time for me to do the
Oh
typical
yeah.
thing.
Should we introduce the podcast?
Yeah, we should do it. We should. We've been in it. We've been in it. And it's rolling.
Okay.
But can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Right. Hey guys. I'm Mabel Ye, and we are on Dom's podcast right now.
Yes,
Um,
but more specifically, we're in a physical space that we created last
oh
time.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
you
The
what do you
treehouse.
remember? Yeah, the treehouse. What do you remember about the treehouse?
Um, let's see. It was really high up, and there was like a single microwave. um, I think it's just one big room, and there's probably like some pillows on the ground or something. Like very sparse furniture. So
Correct.
this wooden interior, and probably a lot of windows, from what I can remember.
Yes. Would you like to add anything? Has anything changed in this treehouse since we were last there?
Um, I don't know. Probably nothing.
Okay.
Maybe some. It's more cloudy.
All right. Cool. Because we're in the summer. I don't remember. We did talk earlier this year. It has been a couple months. I remember enjoying that
Yeah.
conversation so much that I want to do this again and catch up
Right.
with
Yeah.
you. I'm definitely gonna be less interviewee this time. I mean, I naturally ask a lot of questions. But I'm not gonna be like, so you said on this tweet that you hate mangoes. How do you how do you feel about
Yeah.
the mango lobbyists and the mango politicians come out of the woodwork to debate you? What's been going on in your life lately? You're working at Netflix, working on a secret project, right?
I'm working on a project that's been announced, but it's just the creator and the project title. But otherwise, I don't want to say anything else.
Okay, so it's Tim Burton doing My Little Pony reboot, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
I got you. I got you. Look, can we say that the creator? Can we at least say that, or is that
Yeah. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast, but it's Craig McCracken,
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
yeah, he's like a super cool dude. He made like Powerpuff Girls and Wander Over Yonder and Foster's Home, stuff like that.
Right. I remember that now. I gotta warn you, I have a really terrible memory. I don't like. I remember. I feel like with conversations, I remember emotional. Like I remember emotional cues, and I remember stories pretty well. But it's like facts and numbers and things that are kind of technical in nature. Like I have trouble remembering. Like, do you? What do you have trouble remembering?
um, Names. I
Oh, okay.
I think I do very well with numbers actually. I like statistics a lot.
What's your favorite statistic? Do you have one you can share with the people?
Hmm. What is my favorite statistic? I don't know. I'd have to like dig back a lot and think about that for a bit. Um, Mostly just numbers associated with like computers and like audio gear. Just a lot of like equipment.
Hmm.
There's like 60 hertz, 144 hertz monitor. There's 6, 8, 16, 32 gigabytes RAM. There's 512, 7, what is it, 720 gigabytes or 256 or terabytes of storage. There's SSD, there's HDD, there's like all this stuff.
Yeah, all this stuff
Yeah.
makes sense to me. And one
Yeah.
secret about me that I'll tell you is I don't trust odd numbers. I don't think I've ever liked odd numbers.
No, yeah, I don't like odd numbers either.
What is
Um,
that? Do you think there's a biological basis to that?
well, for me, I associate numbers of color, and
Whoa.
I prefer even numbers, I guess, like color wise.
How long has this been a thing for you?
Um, I guess my entire life.
Okay, I have to ask you now. What is so? Do all odd numbers have a tone or a temperature of color, or is it just
um,
specific?
I can go up like to 10, and I can like describe the color of each number up to 10,
Please
if
do.
that makes
I
sense.
would love that.
0 is gray, 1 is black, 2 is yellow, 3 is like this light green, 4 is orange, 5 is this kind of orange yellow, 6 is purple, 7 is purple blue, 8 is dark purple blue like an indigo, 9 is like this light purple pink, and 10 is gray yellow.
When you say gray yellow, you mean like a muddy yellow,
In a
almost?
way, yeah, like a warm gray, I guess.
Okay, none of those are red, correct?
No, well, when we get into like the 40s and the 100s and maybe
Wow.
the
Oh my
600s, they
god.
become red.
The 40s are red. Huh.
Yeah, well, the first half of 40 is either green or orange, and then, but usually it's like the latter half that will be like, I'd say towards the red blue spectrum, like on a color wheel.
So okay, how about 17?
17 is a purple, kind of like this muddy purple red.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Holy shit. Okay, if you now have you divided have you attached this to division, addition, multiplication, or any of that stuff?
Not really, no. I think it's just a number.
Do they, so no temperature, just color?
Yeah, just color.
And if they're odd, so you don't trust odd numbers like I don't trust them.
Because even numbers are usually more yellowish in my eyes, and I love that
Okay.
color more than the odd numbers, which are usually like a purpley or green kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. I
I
just
don't
love
know. I
that.
guess I'm just admitting I like the color yellow, I
Yeah.
guess. Like a very like
Anything that's
roundabout way to like, you basically just asked what's your favorite color, and I went around like the super like
I love it. I love that explanation. I think yeah, for I guess I even numbers have always made sense for me in terms of counting. Like I can count with them more easily. Um
yeah.
and odd numbers, I guess there's always, I guess if there are people, like, all right, let's take 3 for instance. There's always one left out. And I don't like that there's always one. There's always the one that's not paired. Like I guess they're not paired properly.
Yeah. I mean, I like odd numbers if there's something that has to be in the middle. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, like cuz
Like
5, yeah, you have a
yeah. So like visually, if you have to arrange certain things, it's better to have like an odd number. But yeah, for counting and just feeling wise, I prefer the even numbers.
hmm. Do you think this comes into play with storyboard and composition for you, like on a subconscious level at all?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't usually think of numbers when I draw.
Oh, okay,
um,
okay.
yeah.
I don't think so either. I think of when I'm drawing, very often it's sounds and it's uh yeah, definitely sounds and words. Like I remember I had this, I dream a lot when I, like, even if I take a nap in the middle of the day for like 30 seconds, like I'll have dreams. And I had one today and it was like I was it was so weird. I imagined that I was in a fish tank, like a man-sized fish tank, and I swam up out of it, and it turned out I was in the middle of some kind of fashion show, some kind of Gucci thing, where people were walking up and down the runway, and they all, like, a model just looked up at me and kind of scoffed, like I shouldn't have been there. But
Oh
that's
man.
these are the kinds of thoughts I have when I draw.
Yeah.
But they're like usually like there are sounds attached to them and like quotes, things I've never heard before. Um, but yeah, in my dreams, it's mostly places I've never been.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have a strong sense of place in your dreams, or is it colors? Or, like, what's the most prominent thing for you?
In my dreams?
Yeah,
I don't remember my dreams to be honest.
you're a replicant. All right, we're ending the show right now. I have proof. I hope you're a Blade Runner fan. Otherwise, that joke is not funny.
I mean, I understand the
Oh,
joke.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
You don't remember them. Wow. So it's just the blackness. It's just the void.
Yeah, I mean, there's only maybe two or three dreams that I remember. That's only because they're so crazy, you know? They kind of stick in your mind, but otherwise I usually forget them the moment I wake up.
Hmm. And you never try to capture them.
Uh yeah, usually I mean like if there's something particularly interesting, I'll like try to write it down before I can forget, but reading back on my notes, they don't make any sense at all.
Yeah. There's got to be something to that. Uh, I think dream space is very powerful. Even when things don't make sense. I heard somewhere that we're figuring out problems when we're unconscious. Even.
Right, yeah. Do you want to hear one of my I tried writing down a dream the moment I woke up.
Do you have it written down? Yeah, please,
Yeah, I
please.
it's in my notes on my phone. Um my mom shot in the head. It's kind of like
Whoa!
bulleted. So it starts off like that. Then it says Michael Jordan.
Oh
I don't
shit!
know.
This is
Then the
intense.
next bullet is quest to avenge mom. I don't know. Did Michael Jordan shoot my? I don't. I have no idea. I don't think about Michael Jordan. I don't even know what he looks like. um,
Whoa.
Ghost girl with basketball powers. Cool. Um, Driving in a car with roommates. Um, we're driving really bad and we're kind of bumping around. Uh, Netflix headquarters is sprawling and on a grassy field, and that's the end of what I tried to capture from my dream.
I think I have an interpretation, Mabel. I think I got it. I figured it out. I have me and my ghost dream
I don't.
assistants have figured it out. Okay, so this is basically a billion dollar Pixar movie. All right, what it is, it's called Ghost Ball Girl, and
Oh my god.
well, basically what's happening is it's your battle against or this Ghost Girl's battle against Michael Jordan. She takes
Oh
over
yeah,
the
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, the basketball throne. That phrase right there, "ghost girl with basketball powers," I think
I know.
pretty much nail. That's the money right there. But the fact that we're gonna take this outside of you. The fact that her mother died, I assume it's her mother that was killed.
Yeah, probably.
She
And
has
she's on like
something
this quest to avenge
right, right. So she has
her.
the drive. You already have the drive for her to have these basketball abilities. Um, Netflix, I don't know. I'd be reaching if I were to try to make assumptions about that. But you know what you never see? Beautiful dream, by the way. But you never see someone abandoning their abilities. You never see someone who's the chosen one, or like they've been get. So the ghost girl with basketball power. What with basketball powers? You said
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Um, you never see that person just say, I'm good. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to use the powers. I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to go to Chipotle and I'm just going to continue and have it not be part of my life at all. No one ever just gives it up, you know?
Yeah, whoa.
Because I guess you have no story, but I do think there's a story in there in the person who doesn't use the powers.
Yeah, I tried really hard to digest what I'd written down, but I was trying really hard to connect the dots. Couldn't figure out what in the world happened in my dream.
I think those are some beautiful thoughts. I love disembodied dream thoughts. Um,
I'm like, I think my favorite dream note I try to write down. It's only one short line and it makes no sense. I think I woke up at 4 or 5 a.m. with this phrase repeating in my head. I quickly wrote it down in my phone and I went back to sleep. And it's not even, it seriously makes no sense. It's like gibberish. What is it? Let me find it. Yeah. Hey, let me do TikTok. That's what it is. It kept
is it TIKTOK or TICK?
Oh, I wish it. No, maybe it could have, because like
Let me do
I
TikTok.
wrote down like like tick as in the clock ticking, but it could be TikTok. It could be like the app, because
Let
like
me
I was
do.
hearing it, so I wouldn't know the spelling. Oh shit, my subconscious is telling me to do
Log on to
TikTok video.
TikTok.
The the advertisers have crept into your brain.
Oh yeah, this this podcast is sponsored by
By
TikTok.
TikTok.
They snuck in. I mean, that could be. Hey, let me do TikTok is like the young, the okay. I got it. I got it. So it's the younger sister of a famous time mage. Okay, and
Right.
she wants to. She clearly has an aptitude, and she's going to be stronger than everyone in her family. Blah blah blah. She's a chosen one. But that's like some of her first sentence is, "Hey, let me do TikTok."
Oh God. Ugh.
Back to the powers.
Yeah.
Back to the.
That's yeah, that's what I dream about, I guess.
I love it. I mean, some of your sketches kind of. I mean, I was picturing the way you draw sometimes out of this white void, right? And it's like floating people having moments together sometimes, and the text just floats out underneath.
Right, yeah.
I have nothing else to
Uh
add. I'm just,
no, I
uh,
like didn't even realize I did that often
it, it
or
it feels like what you just said. It feels like those dream phrases, like the way
oh
they.
yeah, yeah. I guess like I steal a lot of things people say from observation and my experiences in life
Hmm.
or what I think would be funny or like people watching and like hoping someone would say this and seeing the reaction.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just draw it. I don't know. It'll be funny.
Do you think these fictional worlds that we create exist on some level, or are they completely made up?
I mean, yeah. I I mean like this define like fictional world.
Um. Oh boy. Well, okay. So, when we come up with ideas, like, huh? I guess I'm. There's no neat way to answer where does this stuff come from, and it's kind of a question that a lot of non-artists asks. But I guess what I'm asking is, we all know who Mario is, right? We know he has a red
Right,
hat
yeah.
and he lives in this place, and no one ever says, "Oh, this fictional representation of what a human who is this size might look like." No one ever says that. We just say Mario. But like, do you
Mhm.
think do you think that we're pulling from somewhere, like a dimension that might exist?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, everything comes from something. It's really, really, really hard to make something truly original. And I think
Yeah.
it's like impossible. Nothing is original.
Even people and life isn't like you have.
Yeah. No, yeah, everything is kind of based off of something else or is a mixture of different things or whatever. That's like when I don't know, I've had like artists uh kind of fret about making super original stuff, and I'm like,
Mm,
don't worry about it. Like everything is kind of based off of certain things or a mixture of things or whatever, and it's you just like pull the things you like the most and refashion it in a way that's appealing to you.
right.
And yeah, I don't know.
But how do you know when the thing is right for you? What does that, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know it's original enough, even if you have that feeling that it might not be?
uh I don't know. I guess like I mean, I don't know. I can't really comment because I don't really draw something and then like worry about it not being original.
Oh,
You
okay.
know? It's just like just it's hard, but like if you have a bit of confidence in what you're drawing, it smooths like certain things out, I think.
Hmm.
Like trust your brain, trust your drawings.
That's one of those things they don't teach you in art school or anywhere really. I mean, I think it's something that comes from experience. The
Yeah.
trust exercises, I mean, that's something that is very deep and necessary, and I think everyone has their own journey with it. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of artists who worry a lot about finding a style, which
yes.
honestly, you'll never find a style. It's constantly changing.
Hmm.
And that is a style is not a style. A style is like a combination of your life and your loves and your memories and your experiences and the movies and shows and books and everything you like and your hobbies and your favorite sports and your family and just everything. And that only comes with time and confidence in yourself drawing. And if you it's just yeah, and like it's just constantly changing, so just have fun and go with it, you know?
Yeah. And you kind of have the hope that it changes as well.
Yeah. It's fun exploring different styles.
I remember hearing a Neil Gaiman thing where he was like, whatever it is that you think you like doing the most, like if you're most inspired by anime or um, fuck, like whatever it is, like painting from pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood or whatever it is, he's like, go and study something that has nothing to do with what you like, because he's like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a golden rule of push yourself out of your comfort zone because if you get stuck doing the same thing you always like to do, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to, I don't know, like develop as an artist.
so what's something that you're interested in that people would be surprised by that has seemingly no artistic that would seem like it doesn't have any artistic influence on what you do?
Um, well, I guess I mentioned it earlier, but I love computers and gear and building audio gear
Mm.
and building computers and just technological number gadget stuff. Um, yeah, and it kind of sort of helps me think about art because the thing with building computers is that it's definite. It's like a 6 to 8 piece puzzle, and all the
Mm.
pieces go in the same place.
Right.
And when you wire up the I/O board and like the motherboard, all the cables go in the same place. It just depends on if you have a modular or non-modular PSU, and if your I don't know your case is like a mini ATX or if it's wall mounted or whatever. It's all the same. It also sort of like IT where I feel like there's that hierarchy of figure out if it's a software or hardware issue, then you
Yep.
branch down and you narrow it down to like is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that. And with art it's a lot, or drawings or whatever, it's a bit more open, and if you know, one or the other helps me out in both things. So drawing a lot helps me think more abstract when I'm building computers or building like IEMs or headphones or whatever. And likewise, in drawing, thinking about computers and all that stuff helps me in drawing in a weird way.
I think that's a very astute observation because I think we need both. And there is this misconception about artists being, yeah, and yes, they are as a whole super airheady and don't want to have to think about things that are very concrete and numbersy and all that stuff. But we live in the physical world. I mean, like most of us who are listening to this or watching this right now are living in the physical world and walking around with our physical objects that you have to touch, and you're there's structure all around you. And I think that's kind of one of the things that we neglect in art is limitations and boundaries and setting them for
Yes.
ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's like, yeah, that's perfect. Like for color, for example, that's why I limit myself to use as few colors as possible
Hmm.
because the more you use, the muddier it looks, and you can use color to tell a story, right? And not just in like value and hue. You can literally with just two colors put focal point in a drawing or tell a whole story. And the less colors you use, the better the drawing might look because you're too many colors just takes away from the story you're trying to tell. So
Hmm.
yeah, limitations. I don't know. It's a good idea.
That's definitely that's what a computer would say. That's
I
like
am a
I'm
replicant.
yeah.
This is like a it's just like a test. Like this whole
The
episode,
Turing
just a
test.
replicant test. Like, Mabel thinks about numbers in color and all
That's gonna
this,
be
and she doesn't remember her dreams.
that's gonna be the clickbait title for this. Mabel's a replicant. I have the data. I have the proof. Um, I I think sometimes that we want to believe that everything we do, even as artists, especially as artists, is super unique and different, and it comes from this mystical place. But I guess I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit.
Hmm.
Am I gonna contradict? Okay, I do believe that the interdimensional stuff that we're pulling from somewhere else, but I also feel like, and to me, this is comforting. What I'm about to say, it's finite. The amount of combinations of colors, lines, and things you can make at any given moment are finite.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way when you see a piece of paper that's blank. I know you and I are trained. We're trained to just put the pencil down and just start going. But I think a lot of people are intimidated by it because they feel like it could be anything, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
You're like you're going to use and at this point like 70% of the time you're going to put the pencil down and you're going to make you're going to bend your wrist a certain way and move it because it just feels good
Yeah. Like muscle memory and all that.
yeah. So in that way it's almost freeing sometimes to be like if we did this little thought experiment of like, okay, well, what if we are replicant and you just
I mean, maybe you never know.
I don't know. Yeah, I am one of those simulation theory guys. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll stop while I'm
Yeah.
eating lunch when I'm eating lunch, and I jerk around and I look over my shoulder and I'm like, you thought you caught me there, like, and no one's in the
Yeah.
room. I'm like,
I have
the
a friend where like if anything super weird happens, she's like, "Dude, that was a glitch in the Matrix. I'm telling you, we're living in a simulation."
but the glitches are
Um,
never like. It's never like a volcano just appeared in the side of your
yeah,
lotion bottle. Like
yeah.
why is it never that? Like I want to see some harsher glitches. Obviously, I don't want anybody to die.
Honestly, I have a theory where time travel is real, but in order for the future to observe us, they can't affect the past,
Yeah,
blah blah blah, butterfly effect. So they have a way where they can observe us, um, kind of like omnip. I don't know, whatever that word is, where
yeah.
it's kind of like with godlike power in a way. And as a result, like any weird like ghost stories or whatever of things toppling over or whatever might just be like little accidents done by like future people.
Huh.
observing us. I don't know. I've been thinking about this since I was a kid.
Well,
I'll just be like by myself in a silent room and I'll turn around and just start talking to no one. Be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
but
I don't know.
they don't ever respond back.
No, they don't.
But I guess yeah, they're not because they're not supposed to, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. This is like a thing I've been thinking about when I was a kid. So I'm like, I don't even know. I don't think it's like, I obviously don't think it's true, but I've just been entertaining the thought of it for a really long time now.
That's where art comes from. I mean, this is where good ideas come from. Are these thoughts and playing with these? I mean, you gotta keep playing with those ideas too. And I think these thoughts evolve as we get older. Of like, I remember I might have told you this before, but I when I was a kid, well, I learned that this is called solipsism, where I had this idea that like, okay, well, what if I was the only real human and everything was just like this
Oh, yeah.
construct?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, I
it
think about that
plagues.
too.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of smart kids deal with because I mean it's obvious because
Smart kids.
it's true because you feel alone because you feel weird
I'm like
because
the dumbest kid out there.
it's really that is really not true. I will not let you say that. Come on, that's not true. But I mean, were there a lot of kids like you in school? Did you feel alienated?
um, I don't know. I did feel alienated, but not in that sense. I think it was mostly because I grew up in like a predominantly, I think like white, you know, like
Mm,
straight area.
okay.
So, but I don't think like I'm special though, because everyone is. I don't know. I'm sure there's. I don't know. Everyone's different. So um, I just was a kid that went to school and went back and drew. I don't know. Hung out with my brother
Mm.
and played a lot of video games.
Yeah, the special thing, I flip flop on that. Some days I'm like, yeah, you are, and other days I'm like, I am no different from the common man. From which is
Well,
problematic in itself to say common man, but like like to make art to say that you wanna
right. I
you have
mean,
to you're starting at a baseline of saying my what's in my head is important enough to put down.
right. I mean, like one of my major goal, like the reason why I wanted to go into animation and why I wanted to draw, comics and stuff is because I think surprisingly amongst everyone there are universal experiences and emotions, and
Mm,
everyone is surprisingly can be going through like some of the same things. And the reason why I wanted to draw and go into animation was to tell these stories that would appeal to people, and like they, I guess, would everyone would understand it, everyone would
mm.
understand the emotion or feeling or story I'm trying to get across, and it would help people not feel so alone, if that makes sense. Because I really do think there's everyone's going through something, everyone has certain experiences and emotions, and when you get the story right, and just the hard part is getting it across, right, delivering that message to
Mm.
people. But when you do it right, the impact is shattering, and it's really, it's just the sense of community. It just feels really good.
I've been having this shift. I agree completely, and I've been shifting recently in my work over the past year, where I've been thinking more about, or trying to think more in the way that you just described, in terms of and me giving and thinking less about uh, existing in my own head and being like, how can I share something or help people to have a place. Like I try to think of things in terms of place. Like I'm creating like almost like your art is a location that they can go to where it's like, okay, this person, there's someone else out there who also thinks the way I do. Like I have sometimes I have these thoughts and I'm finding more and more often it's like it's not unique. Like for instance, I play so many video games. I'm assuming that you felt this way too, where it's like you're just walking around outside and you imagine like a heads up display that no one else can see. But
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
wait,
about?
I'm remembering a dream. I'm remembering a
Oh, what?
dream.
Did we just have recall?
Um,
All right, let's go. What do you got?
no, I played a ton of this game called Team Fortress 2
Oh, love
for
it.
like a
Yeah.
really long time. Um, and I remember I had a bunch of dreams in high school with the TF2 like GUI, right? Like that health bar and like the ammo bar. And I had like a
Yeah.
dream where I don't know, I forgot his name. I think
The
like a kid
scout?
named Alex at my
Oh,
on my
oops.
school or whatever. Or like I can't remember. I think I was like just we were all normal people, but we're on like a map. It was like a community map. It was like some ship. And I kept getting backstabbed by like normal people in my life, but like with the spy knife, from the
Hmm.
game. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, what the hell? What's my subconscious trying to tell me? um, yeah, I played so much of that game. I was dreaming in the game.
It did attack your subconscious attached itself to a digital space. That's one of my favorite fucking things. Like um last night actually I had a dream that, and I don't even use Snapchat that much anymore, but
Right.
I was using Snapchat and IG live in my dream. And this is the third time.
Oh,
Yeah,
what? Whoa.
it's dark. Like I mean, fuck. I had my phone out and I was like, this place is so beautiful and this situation is interesting. Let me share it. And I had my phone up and I was swiping and chatting with people. And I don't know what that means. Like I think it.
Do you spend do you spend a lot of time doing any of those?
No. I I think
Oh,
maybe
huh.
I think maybe I. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it's like an hour and a half total, hour and a half on IG every day, something like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely spend a lot of time thinking about the internet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, same. It's it's really much to think about.
It's so much, yeah.
um yeah, I mean like I played about like 3,000 hours of Team Fortress
Oh
2 in my life.
Jesus.
So
Oh,
I think it
oh
really
man.
ingrained, it's in my I think about it. I thought about it a lot when I was playing it a lot. And you play video games, like the muscle memory and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you like, your mouse and keyboard become the second part of your body. It's so weird knowing like the exact key tap to press or whatever to know the exact millimeters your character will move in the game to like dodge a rocket or whatever. I don't know. Um, yeah, I think that's why I dreamed about Team Fortress 2. I just played so much of that game.
I can see it in my head now. The little I like the little spy outline after you've I guess you're doing the little you get the cigarette thing out and you're changing and then there's like a line an outline that happens for like a split second. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what keeps popping into my head when you were talking about the spy stuff. I played
Oh
medic. That
man.
was my thing.
Oh, you're a med main.
Yeah,
Oh.
medvit. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Aw, support boys.
Wait. What is that?
Um,
What am I? What am I? A child over here? Yeah, I know.
no,
I'm not an
no.
aggressive.
Med mains are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like being behind, and
hmm
just
Yeah, it
supporting.
feels great to like support someone. Like being like a pocket med is awesome. Just like supporting your friend or whatever, like roaming soldier or something. Um, I think for me in casual, I main pyro. And I have like, dude, I have an unusual pyro hat. I had like all strange weapons. I had a what was it? The greaser, which is the flamethrower that helps you switch your weapons quickly. I had the shotgun
Oh
that mini
wow.
crits in midair, and I had the what was it, jackhammer. It was like the hammer that would make you run slightly fast. And I would pull these combos where it's like, you lit your enemy, you puff them in air, right, with
Oh,
the
so you
air blast,
blast them with a
shoot,
shotgun.
and in midair yeah, blast them in shotgun, and then when they fall, you switch to your jackhammer and you smash them. So that means within like 2 seconds, you instantly kill someone. It was dope. Um,
Whoa.
And for competitive, because my brother and I played a fair bit of competitive, I main scout or demo man for defense, but usually like flanking scout.
I don't
Yeah,
even know what a
fucking love
flanking
that game.
scout is. I don't. I know what the regular scout.
Um,
Tell me. What?
yeah, there's sixes and there's Highlander, and sixes is six versus six players, and this is like years ago, so I'm trying really hard to remember, but I believe it's two scouts, two medics, and wait, no, is it two scouts? I believe two soldiers, one medic, and one demo man.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's that, but I could be wrong. And usually it's point capture. And there's usually like the pocket medic that pockets one of the soldiers, and there's another roaming like flanking soldier.
Hmm.
And in the scouts, you have like that capture bonus, so you kind of like flank around and like capture them quickly and just kind of like annoy the other team. But yeah, and Highlander is like all nine classes against each other, but I think was a lot more popular than Highlander.
You're taking me back to a simpler time in my life. I used to play the game before the hats came out. That's
Oh,
yeah.
whoa,
I
that's
stopped
been
playing. Yeah,
fucking
right.
ages ago.
Yeah, it was like right around when they started giving everyone new weapons and stuff. I think
Yeah.
by the time I think everyone kind of got like their fourth, fifth weapon, I was done with it. So I mean, it's fascinating that they really changed the game by
Dude, yeah.
adding all that stuff
I
like
mean,
the puff from the pyro thing. That's big deal.
right. The thing is like, so I've been playing games my whole life. I think my Steam library has like 200, 300 something games, and I played Overwatch for a really long time too, but my number one favorite game is still Team Fortress 2, this fucking free to play game, because the community is the best community I've ever come across. And all the updates are community driven. Everyone makes so much
Mm.
art and music. And SFMs, those like animations, fucking incredible. Just everything is insanely awesome. And the game doesn't take itself too seriously because there's like joke weapons and joke cosmetics now, and I've met some of my best friends on that game, and
You've met real people on there. Wow. Okay.
it's just
Huh.
that I'd say some of the happiest experiences of my life was playing Team Fortress 2. That was most of my like childhood, just a lot of drawing and playing games.
Mm. Do you feel like in that when you're in that realm, when you're in the digital realm playing those games, this is going to be a kind of a weird question to ask. Do you feel like are you yourself or are you the character? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, does it feel
um,
like because you were in there for 3,000 hours? I mean,
yeah.
do you
I
feel
mean,
like the pyro? Like, are you
no,
that?
I mean, I do. The pyro's super cute. But I still do feel like myself. The problem with me is that like because I played tons of, you know, short like match based arena style shooters. Like I played a lot of Quake and like
Yeah.
I don't know, like Counter Strike sometimes and like games like that, and a lot of Overwatch. And I think my attention span became like nothing, like zero. So like those super beautiful games of beautiful stories like The
Right.
Last of Us and like all that stuff, super beautiful games. I get so bored. It's so sad. I just crave pure mechanics and like instant, like that dopamine shot,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you get an awesome kill or whatever. And lately I bought a Switch last year, and I've been playing more. It's my first console ever, and I just fucking love Nintendo now. I'm playing more story-based games and like slowly easing into it. Um, yeah, and I'm like not playing as I'm not really playing like arena like first-person shooters anymore. Kind of trying to save my attention span.
I mean, that's the. I mean,
uh,
it'll definitely. It takes a certain kind of person to do that sort of stuff. And I have a lot of friends who play that sort of thing, who play and they
yeah.
play
Yeah.
real time strategy stuff like StarCraft and Dota and all that. And I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
That
Dota.
stuff makes me like so anxious, and
Yeah.
I cannot stand it. It's
Yeah, like
bizarre.
League and yeah. I mean, that's why I love Team Fortress 2. It's so fucking fun. And you're just chilling with your friends and like killing people. And when you're really good at Team Fortress 2, it's just like it's just so fun because there's unlimited play styles because there's so many different weapons, like ridiculous weapons. It's super fun. But yeah, what a good game. Video games are cool.
I love a good single player story or a co op because I'm definitely a wimp
Oh
that way.
yeah. The
What?
only like sorry, what were we gonna
No, no,
say?
no, no. Go ahead.
I think like the so this is when I'm super deep addicted to, super fast multiplayer shooters. The one kind of co-op single player game I really got into with a really great story was Borderlands 2. It was
Mm.
so good and I love like the name generations. Like I love like Throwing Grenade, like Gurnade. Love that shit. And like Claptrap is so cute. And there's like the hidden like Minecraft levels, and the characters are just crazy. My brother and I had a really good time playing that game.
That random gun and item
Yeah,
generation system to me was very
awesome.
very smart. I think that's incredible, and I hope
Super
they.
fun. I
I
mean, Borderlands 3 is coming out soon, right? Have you
I
seen
think
the trailer for it?
I think I did. I mean, I watched a tech demo for like the cell shading that looks really really crazy on there.
Yeah, I think like I can't remember the number. I believe it was 40 million. They're saying like there's gonna be 40 million gun combinations now. I'm like, holy fuck, so many different kind of guns you can get, you know?
Oh my god, I'm really just holding out for I want a game where I can really just talk to the AI. That's all I really want.
Oh,
I just
that'd
want to
be
have a
fun.
conversation
Yeah,
like Mass Effect. I just want to be able to sit there and talk
true,
to the
yeah.
alien.
Whoa, that'd be like the ultimate role-playing game then. If like every NPC was like an AI that you could have just unlimited like conversations and I don't know. That'd be crazy.
It'll be beautiful, but at some point, I mean, the thing I always think about is like a shopkeeper will be like, "I'm done. I don't want to sell to you anymore. Get the fuck out of my shop. Get out!" And like he chases you out. And if you try to start shit, they become as strong as you, which is like what happens when you become the NPC. I don't know.
Oh, true.
Be pretty
Whoa.
dark. All right, Mabel, we got some questions for you before we head on
Oh
out.
yeah, definitely.
All right, question from Asa James. Was there ever a point when you can remember you literally felt yourself becoming a better artist?
Um. Oh, I don't
Were you
know.
leveled up in real life? Just you just felt the XP just flow into your blood.
I think like this was recently. This is last year when I was developing a pitch at Cartoon Network. Hardest shit I've ever done in my life. It was so
Mm.
fucking hard. Um, it was harder than even like the films I was making at school. Um, and it was really difficult. But after I finished it and after I pitched it to this crazy room filled with like 40 something people, it just felt so good and I felt really proud. And I think that was one instant where I was like, oh my God, I've improved.
That's fantastic. I mean, how long did the pitch last?
I boarded a pilot episode. It was like 6, 7 minutes long. And I did about 10 or 15 minutes of I wrote like a pitch bible with all this artwork and exploring the world and characters
Wow.
and like the goals of each character. So there's about 10 or 15 minutes of presenting that and then like maybe another 5 minutes of like concluding. So I'd say I wouldn't say longer than half an hour.
Does every character need a goal? Can the goal just be to eat tacos?
Yeah, I mean the goal can be simple, but ideally characters should have wants and needs and flaws and problems. And it would just make stories interesting and help like generate conflict and I don't know. It's really fucking hard writing characters, but I learned a lot and yeah, the crew a lot of people helped me, so I'm really grateful for that.
Hmm. I mean, I can't wait to see the stuff you're gonna do in the future. I think future Mabel, like 15 years from now, you have I'm gonna you basically have like a cyber arm for some reason. You have
I'm
an
like
arm.
I haven't aged at all. I'm
You
like
have an
literally a replicant.
one USB port arm just filled with
Yeah.
USB ports, and you have like 17 popular Cartoon Network shows. It's gonna be reality. I've said it first here, so
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Okay, so second question that we're gonna end with Tyler Wood. I'm gonna adapt his question a little bit.
Mhm.
He asks, "What does your music taste like?"
Oh, good question. So I prefer to do just like acoustic music because sometimes I just want to get stories in the song, just kind of like out there, if that makes sense. But lately I've been kind of experimenting with pop and R&B and
Hmm.
different production and stuff. So I guess the acoustic stuff would taste like fruit, maybe. I'm thinking like I don't know, peaches and maybe like mandarins or clementines.
Ah,
And then
citrus. Okay.
and then the more produced stuff or stuff I've been experimenting with. I've yet to release. I've been working on some stuff, but gotta do some finishing touches. I might release them in a bit. But yeah, the more experimental stuff is um would taste like tea, I think, like Earl Grey.
That's fantastic. I love it. Mabel,
hmm
please tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as I don't even know how to pronounce
I
my own
know this.
user.
We had the same thing, but please try. Try.
Mabele, Mabele. So that would be. I'll just spell it out. I guess. Mobblele. I mean, truthfully, my original username that I stuck with for ages was my Tumblr name, just Mobble, Mobble, and I made an Instagram as a side account, and I think Mobble was taken, so I added another le to the end, and it kind of like blew up. And it's more popular than Tumblr now, and
uh,
I don't even know how to pronounce it, but yeah, the
Mabalo.
origins.
Mabalo.
Yeah, Mababa. People at work call me Mabalubale.
Yeah, that'll Michael Bublé. Mabel, thank
Michael.
you. Thank you for being here with me in your treehouse, where we will return next time. Perhaps it'll be snowing next time, or there'll be a volcano in here, or something like that.
In the middle of the treehouse.
Yes, absolutely. And we're just gonna it's gonna start our quest where we're gonna have to
Or
hire
the
the
sauna.
ghost basketball girl to plug it up with the basketball or
Oh,
something.
yeah. Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no problem. See, I told you. Listen, you gotta listen to your boy. All right. Fantastic conversation, wasn't it? It was beautiful. It was engaging. It was enlightening. You all, please don't forget, follow Mabel Ye. And I barely know how to pronounce pronounce her Twitter and her IG handle, but I mean, she also can't pronounce it either. So just scroll back and you'll see how she told us to pronounce it and follow it. I'm a professional. Also, just go to mabelye.com. Follow Mabel. Tell her I sent you. Tell her Dom sent you. Tell her you're one of the valets. She'll have milk and cookies and perhaps some garden vegetables and fish from the deepest parts of the New York Ocean for you. All right. Before we head out, I'm going to answer a question from the one and only Tommy Tootsters, who drew me. And you can see it right here. If you can't see it because you're listening, or maybe you can't see, I'm going to describe it to you. It's a beautiful drawing that looks it looks like me crossed with a blueberry, an alien blueberry. My hair is purple and it looks like a jagged eraser, an Alanis Morissette eraser with jagged glasses. And I'm like, that's the expression I'm making. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy's a great artist. I love the work, the portraits that you all have sent me, and I feel honored that you all are compelled to do this sort of thing. Or maybe you're not compelled to do it, and you just kind of whatever the verb is. But thank you, Tommy. Tommy's question is about the afterlife. And Tommy says, and by the way, if you have any questions for me, ask@domrabron.com is the best way to send them to me. You can also DM me, email me wherever you see my email, DM me on Twitter, whatever. Patrons, though, have a direct line to me, and I will usually answer your question first and prioritize that. So remember that. Patreon.com/valet, folks. Tommy Tooster says, hello again, Dom. Here's a thought I had while listening to SZA's Control album. What if the afterlife is just the internet, but you can't make posts or respond to anything? All you do is watch and observe as others' lives go on by. Love to hear your thoughts on this existential glop, and as always, keep up the good work. Thank you, Tommy. For those of you who know me, I think about the afterlife a lot. Every day, in fact, I think about it. As I'm getting older, I hope there's something, and I'm constantly crafting what I think I want it to be like. And for those of you who are paying attention to stuff like my Flimagra drawing too, and some of the animated work I'm making, I am creating something. I am creating something of I don't know, a preview into what I want it to be like. If you're paying attention to that stuff, it is pretty much what I would want my afterlife to be like. But, not being able to make posts or respond to anything, in some ways, I think it might be comforting. Obviously, it would also be, there would be issues like, for instance, imagine you were a ghost and the internet existed in the 1700s or something, and you had to look at all the fucking bullshit that they were spouting and dealing with and thinking was okay, and you're just an alien. I mean, I'm sorry, a ghost. I guess you'd be a ghost from that time, but things would be changing, and you would just watch people evolving, and perhaps you wouldn't be evolving, or you have evolved. I don't know what the ghost society would be like. I mean, do ghosts change? Can ghosts change their mind? That's my question for you all. I don't know if ghosts change their mind. I don't know if ghosts learn. I don't know if there is much learning in the afterlife, because traditionally we've been shown that through lore, ghost lore and all that stuff, it's usually vengeance. Usually ghosts are people who haven't been sent away. To pull out a deep Final Fantasy X reference. Usually ghosts are people who have unfinished business. But this isn't a portion of the afterlife that I would choose. This isn't a shard of the afterlife I'd be interested in living inside of, because I don't know, I like being able to interact with the internet. And I don't buy this either. I think you would be able to contribute. You'd be able to do something. If you were just accessing it and the internet was in the read-only mode, there's no fucking way there wouldn't be some kind of ghost Bezos, who would be able to help you access the internet through a very, very small fee on Amazon Ghost Internet Prime, Amazon Spectre, Amazon Ectoplasm, Amazon Ghoul. That's what we'll call it. Thank you for your question, Tommy. And again, if you have any other questions for me, anything else, ask@domrabron.com or ask me on Patreon, where I post vlogs every week. I post secret sketches, old shit that you'll never see, new shit that you'll never see on any of my other platforms. You'll get to see some of my writing. This past week, I posted a story I've never posted anywhere else. Hang on. Alexa, stop. This week on Patreon, I also posted a story I've never posted anywhere else that you all will get the chance to read. All you got to do is sign up on there. And I want to leave you once again with the other best way to support my shit, domrabron.com/shop. Please buy a print. I love how my hands look like they're like octopi tendrils or something. Very nice. Buy a print from domrabber.com/shop. I ship anywhere in the fucking galaxy, all right? Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. I want to shout out my new patrons and old patrons as well. New patron KA, shout out to you. New patron Tyler Wood, shout out to fucking, come on, round of applause for you all. Shout out to old patrons like Tommy Tootsters. And our top valet, Asa James. The $25 tier. Thank you. Thank you all for making this possible. Thank you for listening to this. Like I said, old and new. If you're one of the new people, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell me how you feel about all this stuff. Just comment on the little comments below. And my wish for you this weekend is for you to make creations, for you to make and share whatever it is in your head. Do it boldly. Do it swiftly, and that doesn't mean to not care about what you're making and to just throw it out willy-nilly, but I just mean do it with urgency because our time is limited. You know this. We've all known this. I know it. That's why I'm saying it. And thank you for Mabel. Thank you to Mabel, our fine guest, and goodbye. Until next week. Goodbye.